30 years an Ohio doctor.
I shall drop everything.
Oh, thank you. I hope you enjoy it. Well, see you on tomorrow. Keep that hip quiet, and don't forget those little pills. Goodbye.
Oh, Maggie, will you take 40 years below the navel or whatever it's called?
Well, I must say, you have certainly behaved with all your accustomed grace and charm.
Now look here, Puss. I am in no mood to discuss my behavior, good or bad. I had no desire to cross this cheerless threshold. I was hounded and badgered into it. I now find myself, after 2 weeks of racking pain, accused of behaving without charm. What would you have me do? Kiss them?
Very well, Sherry. After 10 years, I should have known better than to try to do anything about your manners. But when I finally give up this job, I may write a book about it all. Through the years with Prince Charming.
Listen, repulsive. You are tied to me with an umbilical cord made of piano wire. And now, if we may dismiss the subject of my charm, for which, incidentally, I receive $1,500 per appearance, possibly we can go to work? Oh, no, we can't. Yes?
My name is Harriet Stanley. I know you are Sheridan Whiteside. I saw this holly, framed green against the pine trees. I remembered what you had written about Tess and Jude the Obscure. It was the nicest present I could bring you.
For God's sake, what was that?
That was Mr. Stanley's sister, Harriet. I've talked to her a few times. She's quite strange.
Strange. She's right out of the Hound of the Baskervilles. You know, I've seen that face before, somewhere.
Nonsense, you couldn't have.
Well, let's get down to work. Here, press this in the doctor's book.
Here are some telegrams.
I see no reason why I should endorse maid-informed braziers. What date is this?
December 10th.
Send a wire to Columbia Broadcasting. You can schedule my Christmas Eve broadcast from the New York studio, as I shall be returning east instead of proceeding to Hollywood. Stop. For special New Year's Eve broadcast, we'll have as my guests Yasha Heifetz, Catherine Cornell, Schipperelli, the Luntz, and Dr. Alexis Carroll, with Haile Selassie on shortwave from England, Whiteside.
Are you sure you'll be all right by Christmas, Sherry?
Of course I will. Send a cable to Mahatma Gandhi, Bombay, India. Dear Boo-Boo. Schedule changed. Can you meet me, Calcutta, July 12th? Dinner, 8:30, Whiteside. Wire to editor of the Atlantic Monthly. Do not worry, Stinky. Copy will arrive. Whiteside. Arturo Toscanini. Where is he?
I'll find him.
Counting on you January 4th, Metropolitan Opera House, my annual benefit, Home for Paroled Convicts. As you know, this is a very worthy cause and close to my heart. Tibbet, Rethberg, Martinelli, and Flagstad have promised me personally to appear. Will you have quiet supper with me and Ethel Barrymore afterwards? Whiteside. If that's for Mrs. Stanley, tell them she's too drunk to talk.
Hello? What? Hollywood?
If it's Goldwyn, hang up.
Oh, Banjo!
Banjo, give me that
Banjo, you old so-and-so, how are you, darling?
Come on, give me
Come
that.
on, Sherry. Are you coming east, Banjo? I miss you.
Stop driveling and give me the phone.
Oh, he's going to live. In fact, he's screaming at me now. Here he is.
How are you, you fawns behind? And what are you giving me for Christmas? What news, Banjo, my boy? How's the picture coming? How a wacko and sloppo? No, I'm all right. Yes, I'm in very good hands. Dr. Frankenstein's got me on his slab. So what about you? Having any fun? Playing any cribbage? What? Oh, well, don't take all his money. Leave a little bit for me. You're what? Having your portrait painted by whom? Milt Gross? Not really. Well, can't waste my time talking to Hollywood riffraff. Kiss Luella Parsons for me. Goodbye. He took $1,400 from Sam Goldwyn at cribbage last night. And Sam said, Banjo, I will never play garbage with you again.
What's all this about us having his portrait painted?
Salvador Dali. That's all that face of his needs, a surrealist have painted. What do you want now, Miss Bedpan?
Your medicine, Mr. Whiteside.
Now, where were we?
Here's a cable from that dear friend of yours, Lorraine Sheldon.
Let me see.
Sherry, my poor sweet lamb, have been in Scotland on a shooting party with Lord and Lady Cunard, and only just heard of your poor sweet hip. Am down here in Surrey with Lord Bottomley, sailing Wednesday on Normandy, and cannot wait to see my poor sweet Sherry, your blossom girl, Lorraine. In the words of the master, I may vomit.
Don't be bitter, Puss, just because Lorraine is more beautiful than you are.
Lorraine Sheldon is a very fair example of that small but vicious circle you move in.
Pure sex jealousy if I ever saw it. Give me the rest of those.
Lorraine Sheldon, Lord Bottomley, my Aunt Fanny.
Ah, it's from Destiny's Tot.
England's little rubber boy.
Mm-hmm. Dear baby's breath, what is this I hear about a hip fracture in some bordello brawl? Does this mean our Hollywood Christmas party is off? Finished the new play in Pago Pago, and it's superb. Myself and a ukulele leave Honolulu tomorrow in that order. By the way, the Sultan of Zanzibar wants to meet Ginger Rogers. Let's face it, Oscar Wilde.
He does travel, doesn't he? You know, it would be nice if the world went around Beverly Carlton for a change.
Hollywood next week. Why couldn't he stop over on his way to New York? Send him a cable. Beverly Carlton, Royal Hawaiian Hotel, Honolulu. If these people intend to have their friends using the front door...
What do you want them to do? Use a rope ladder?
I will not have a lot of mildewed pus bags
Good
rushing
morning,
in and
Mr.
out.
Jefferson. Good morning, John.
There's nobody home. The Stanleys have been arrested for white slavery. Go away.
Good morning, Mr. Whiteside. I'm Jefferson of the Massalia Journal.
Get rid of him.
I'm sorry, Mr. Whiteside is seeing no one.
Really?
So will you please excuse us? Good day.
Mr. Whiteside seems to be sitting up and taking notice.
I'm afraid he's not taking notice of the Massalia Journal. Do you mind?
You know, if I'm going to be insulted, I'd like it to be by Mr. Whiteside himself. I never did like carbon copies.
Touche if I ever heard one. And in Massalia too, Maggie did.
Will you please leave?
How about an interview, Mr. Whiteside?
I never give them. Go away.
And Mr. Whiteside, if I don't get this interview, I lose my job.
That would be quite all right with me.
Now, you don't mean that, Mr. Whiteside. You used to be a newspaper man yourself. You know what editors are like. Well, mine is the toughest one that ever lived.
You won't get around me that way. If you don't like him, get off the paper.
Well, yes. But I happen to think it's a good paper. William Allen White could have got out of Emporia, but he didn't.
You have the effrontery in my presence to compare yourself with William Allen White.
Only in the sense that White stayed in Emporia, and I want